Hello and welcome to this week's IG Live. Today I have the pleasure of talking to artist and author Nat Cardozo, and she is going to be joining us as she's working with Red Comet Press, and she has a new book out called Origen, or Origen in Spanish. And it's a beautiful book that includes 22 first-hand accounts from indigenous children around the world. I can tell you the artwork on it is just stunning. And if you like it, then you're going to love the fact that we're giving away a copy. You can win a signed copy. Just go to the pinned post in our profile to enter today's giveaway. It ends tonight at midnight Eastern, so don't miss out. It's a really beautiful book, just gorgeous artwork. And we're going to get to talk to Nat about kind of her process, her thoughts behind the book. It's a really beautiful book, not just in the artwork, which is amazing, but also just the idea of the book about really teaching kids about how interconnected we all are, and also how connected we are, or maybe we should be, to nature by presenting these perspectives of children from indigenous communities around the world and really how they view their place in the world. So it's a really beautiful book. Like I said, as soon as we're done, you should race over to our pinned post and enter this week's giveaway because you could win a signed copy, and I highly recommend it. It's just gorgeous. We are here every week, usually this time, Thursdays at 2 o'clock Eastern. We have a really great lineup coming up for you. Hello. So don't miss out on those. Watch for the announcements. I'm not going to give any spoilers about who's coming, but these interviews with creators of diverse books. Of course, we are rooting for all of the people who've had their books banned and challenged. You can go to our profile for that. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Eliana?
Good. How are you doing?
Very happy.
Well, we're so happy to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, why don't we go ahead? You can introduce yourself and tell us what was your journey to becoming an author and an illustrator? I should mention you're a fine artist. So how did you come to working on children's books?
Well, it was quite a long ride because I always loved art, but didn't realize which kind of art was the best for me. So dancing, singing, everything works for me. But when I returned from travel to Australia, I realized that if I didn't study illustration, I would be very, very unhappy. So I went to the art school, design and illustration from Barcelona, and have there my degree. I was the most happy girl.
That's amazing. So, like I said, I mean, your work, even in this book, Origen, it looks like something that should be hanging in a museum. You have this beautiful artwork, and you participated in exhibitions in Uruguay, Mexico, Spain, Argentina. When you are creating something for an exhibition versus when you're creating something for a children's book, is your process different, or is it kind of the same in terms of creating the artwork?
I think there's some changes and also some similarities. I'm always trying to add nature in all my works.
Mhm.
So, and also the way I see the world, it's important, and I show it in all my drawings. And it is to show, this way of macrocosm and microcosm.
Mhm.
So this is the way I see, the beauty of life, and it's always represented in my drawings.
And for anyone who hasn't seen her artwork, you should go check out her website because you can see the portfolio and just the range of artwork that she's done. It's all so beautiful. But let's talk about Origen, your latest picture book, which you wrote and illustrated. I know sometimes you illustrate where someone else is writing the words, but this one is one that you did the writing and the illustration. Tell us about Origen and what inspired you to create it.
Well, the concept of the book started I think, when I was a child, because I was really a curious child and have had a lot of questions about, why there's so much inequality and climate change. I still are very concerned about all those topics. And my parents came from really different economic background. And it was always such contrast I was living on. And that was very impactful for me. And they encourage us to try to find our own answers for those questions. So I started traveling, and when I found information about indigenous cultures, it just really makes sense for me. It was okay, maybe I found these answers, because I think that when we put ourselves as human beings in another place in relation to nature, I think like a domino play, everything just start to
Wow. Yeah.
yes, to fall. So I think that it's wonderful that if you see all these cultures that they develop themselves around nature, but they didn't have any contact between them, but they have this in common, right?
Right.
So this, not that they find something that we didn't find, is that we forgot.
Mm.
We forgot that we have the same origin. We are all made by this stardust, right?
Right.
As humans, and also everything around us. So I wanted me in this searching this path. This is like a crystallization of all this searching and all these questions, and it just I wanted to share all these thoughts with people.
Because that is something that really strikes you when you read your book. You have children from representing cultures all around the world. And really does mean all, sometimes people say all around the world, and that means Asia and Europe. But you have no, you have from representing so many different diverse cultures, and yet there's so many similarities across these cultures. Like you say, even though these are not cultures that maybe have had contact with each other, and yet they all have the same kind of ideas, same relationship with nature. And like you say, it kind of examines our connection to nature and how we see ourselves, as whether we see ourselves as part of nature or apart from it. So how does your book help children understand our interconnectedness with nature and also with each other?
Well, I think that when you have the right information, you can empathize really quickly, and you can find. And this is beautiful about children's. I made workshops all around with different ages of children, and even 80 something adults. And it's always the same. It's like they have the same language, they connect really quickly about the concept, and it's something that maybe they can find their own words. Even it's the same for me. Illustration is my language. So, but I think through the images, they can feel something that there's a connection very deep. Um, and because I made those illustrations, those portraits in a really big size, it's a horizontal talk. Those children, they are talking about their ecosystems or the life that they are so connected with nature, but they are also talking with you and asking you, what about your landscapes? And I think this is the most important thing, to have conversation about it, and just don't no dar por hecho. How to say that in English?
To
Just
say it, sorry, say it one more time. Not
no dar por hecho, just not granted.
right. Oh, yeah, that's a
Yes. So we have to question our system and our way of life, and also that the place we put ourselves. Maybe it's not like a pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more like indigenous cultures see our place in a circle, a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much wisdom, and because they don't have so many things to care of. They have time
Mm-hmm.
to love and to contemplate. I find contemplation so important. And also in the book, if you see the last image of the book, uh, it apparently is the same as the cover, but it's not. You will find lots of differences as an exercise to contemplate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's the one showing more like a more modern child, not an indigenous child, kind of maybe what your land, helping kids think through, well, what is your landscape about? Is that right? The last image?
Yes, it was the gray
Yeah.
little guy, and then it's the cover girl again.
Mm,
So you always finish in a hopeful
right.
way. But I think it's really important that we understand that all these cultures are contemporary of
Right.
us. So, and they are not primitive, they are really complex and really a plane of wisdom and knowledge. And we can learn so much about this way of understanding life.
I'm so glad you said that because I think that happens a lot when and how indigenous cultures are portrayed. They're portrayed as something from the past, something very primitive, not modern. And but like you said, and they are so complex and they have so much to teach us about how to live in our modern world that we've become disconnected with. So I love how you incorporated that.
Yes, it seems so strange for us. Oh, they don't have electricity, maybe, or some of them, or they don't have this and that. But they didn't lost the really important things that we share.
Mhm.
So what's really important? What do we really need? And also understand that it's their choices. It's not because they are poor, it's because they choose to live that way and they feel very grateful and very rich with what they have. In some context, no, because they are restrained with their territories and the extraction and whatever we are doing to their territories. But they choose this kind of life. So yes, there's more than 5,000 indigenous cultures around the world now, just now living.
Well, so how did you choose which ones you were going to represent in the book? Because if you say if there are 5,000 and here you have 22, how did you narrow it down?
It was very challenging because I didn't have any method. I'm just a curious girl that had so many questions and I wanted to learn about. Um, so when I start and I knew that there's so many, I think maybe I need to make a list of criteria, right? So the first point would be that they represent every continent
Mhm.
and also different ecosystems. So I try to put all the ecosystems I could. Then that there's at least some of them lived as equally as a long time ago with their traditions and um, their culture. And also that there's enough information because some of them is really hard to have enough information to work with. And last thing was the woman to have a place of respect in their community. So with that, I could choose some of them.
Mm. Oh, that's interesting. And as you mentioned, the children in the book represent all different ecosystems, every continent, and yet they have this common vision, a lot of similarities in their culture and their relationship to nature. What do you hope that children take away, or actually anybody? I think I should say this. I think this is a book that adults will also really love. I love looking through it. I've looked through it with my older children. What do you think? What do you want readers to take away after they read your book?
My hope is to inspire to find your your own answers and try to go to look more about their cultures, because there's so much, you know. I could make a book of each of these cultures. It's so interesting. There's so much to know about it. Is fascinating. And I think it's a good exercise that if we think as our mark of belief,
Mhm.
imagine it as a square form, and then you travel and you meet people and you study, and maybe this mark will enlarge.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
what if you meet circles, Markle? You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
I think this is a way to not prejudge other cultures and try to understand it in a more openly minded way, and have the respect they deserve about their own way of lives and what they choose, and question it. Question it, our way of life and our decisions, what we think we really need, that sometimes we don't really need it at all, and what is really important. And also, I think it's really important to every child and every person, when we feel so small seeing the news and everything what's going on, and it's very sad, and
Right.
we get so overwhelmed about all what is happening around the world. But each one of us, we have a responsibility, and also we can do something,
Mm.
even if you think it's not enough. Uh,
Excuse me.
it is really important to talk about, to learn, to you know, to have these conversations.
Right.
So I'm not an expert. I'm just a human being that I want to learn, um, and I think we can share a lot of from those cultures, and try to ask them, and you know.
I love that. What reaction do you get? I mean, you've talked a little about how children that you've worked with, how they have responded to the book. Can you tell us a little more about that, what their reaction is?
Well, they always look at the book and they choose some favorite friends, you know, and they want to, and they are so impressed about they find, you know, children are very magical,
Mm,
because they always find the connection really quick.
mm,
So when I did these workshops, I work with children from all around, and some of them were immigrants or with a lot of economic issues, and some of them were from wealthy neighborhoods, and all of them had the same reactions, you know. I made them a portrait activity where they have to draw themselves with a self-portrait,
uh-huh,
and they have to tell one of those children's in the book what look like their landscapes and
right.
what they feel is living inside of them. And you know, it's always you can just put all the children together. It's the same. They are so impressed. Oh, and my eyes, and it's like if they never see their faces on the mirror. So it's very, very magical.
I love that. Well, tell us before I let you go about your process of creating the artwork, because I think anyone who picks it up, that's the first thing they're going to notice is just this incredible, gorgeous artwork. Can you tell us about what's your process for creating? I should mention people can go to your Instagram and see, you have one really cool video of you actually doing
Yes.
one of the portraits, but can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yes. Well, I work with MDF. MDF is like a wood, very sustainable because it's the left of the wood.
Mm,
And I use pyrography. It's a tool that it's like a box with a resistance inside, and you can branch it to the electricity. So the wire gets hot, and I burn the wood.
ah,
So I made all the outlines with this tool, like if it was a pencil.
mm,
And it's very meditative as a process, and the smell and the time, because it has his own time
right.
for the process. But also, I think it's very symbolic to draw a message, burning,
Mm,
burning a message on the
mm,
wood. And then I painted with acrylics and color pencils. And the portraits were really tricky because at first I had maybe one forest, one desert, one water ecosystem. But then when they repeat the ecosystems, like 5 forests, I had to go deeper in the research with images and try to catch the atmosphere.
mm.
So it was really interesting to, there's so many different forests, and you have to try to represent it with different colors and different textures, right? But then when I had to look at for so many photo portraits
Mhm.
and be sure that they were the right culture representing, and then try to find like a physiognomy that could represent in a maybe in a good way this culture. I outline it and put it on transfer it to the wood, and then just colors and all the details were directly on the wood. I didn't make any experimentation or, color, yes, outside. It was really, and maybe some of them it took me 1.5 day because I was so passionate about and everything, just, so many studying and reading and immersed. I was so immersed
Mhm.
in this atmosphere that then when I had to write it was really quick.
So when you say you're working on one culture and you're so immersed in it, do you have to take a break before you can move to the next one? Do you need to take some time off before because you're so
That's
deep
that's
into it?
how. Yes, I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
it's like because you become like a channel.
Mm,
There's something very mystical in the process. I can't even explain, but also I didn't sleep or eat. I was so like possessed by the process.
wow. That's amazing. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for taking the time to talk with us. This is
my
so, I mean,
pleasure.
such a beautiful book, and not just that it's beautiful to look at, but wonderful message to share with children and really for all of us. Do you have any upcoming projects or what you think you're going to be working on next that you'd like to?
Yes, I'm doing the sequel of the Fossil Skippers from Magic Cat.
Mm,
So it's from Treasures, very interesting. And then I'm doing a book called Resilience. It's a commission by an NGO from Geneva that works with United Nations.
mm,
So really interesting projects, and also traveling. So I'm going to Cabo Verde in a few weeks from
wow.
now. So lots of beautiful work coming on. Oh, I wanted to say just that all this information, even if I didn't have any method to try to find all the information, I had we have the anthropological team of Jujuy University that look at all the information was right, and it was like an exam for me. But it was necessary for all this information.
Oh, that's great to know. So this is something educators could also use in the class, teachers could use in the classroom and know that the information is very accurate.
Yes,
Yeah. Uh,
yes.
well, thank you so much for joining us. This is
Thank you,
such
Lina.
a pleasure to talk with you. And also those that that don't know, we spent a lot of time on the technical, just getting the videos to work and all at the same time. So I appreciate you doing all of that that work
Thank you
to
so much for having me here.
Yes, and thanks to all of you for watching this. If you started late with us, this will be up on Instagram in just a few minutes and later on our YouTube channel. Thanks, everyone. Bye.